or the river Nile. So for the other part, we neglected Africa, we neglected these people. Israel penetrated this point with the influence, with the relation with Ethiopia, and made lots of projects with these countries, especially with the people. So you know that they training lots of African youths that they are training now in Israel, and they also have some strategic relation with the army and with giving them weapons and to give them some economic aids. And these countries also, they understand that Israel, it is the main gate to the Western countries, the main gate to Europe, and the main gate to America, and to get their economic aids. So they understand this point of view. So this every time there's the influence of Israel on the River Nile sources.
Yes. So my question to you is, why now? Why now use this tool, or do use this weapon that they have always threatened Egypt with?
Yes.
And with the pace, like you mentioned, the continuous negotiation that's probably is going to be failing forever.
Yes.
And they're going to be implementing the dam the way they want to implement it. And then we're going to be faced with a national security issue, and then we will have to take decisions whether we take actions or strict actions towards Ethiopia or not. So my first question is, why now? Why did Ethiopia move now?
You know that now it is a troubling time in Egypt, especially after the 25 January revolution. Egypt, it is an unstable situation. We have some political troubles and stability and all this point. So Ethiopia, with the pushing of Israel, you should benefit of your projects now. Egypt has no big hands now. Egypt or the Egyptians now, they are in troubles, so you should benefit of this. So they started especially the construction and to make the execution of this project after the revolution. Yes, they prepared lots of things during the time of the former President Mubarak and all this, but the execution and the work of the project started after the revolution. And now we can make negotiation, but they build. This is the same time like what the Israeli do, as I said before, So they benefited of what we have now in Egypt of the time of the instability, and we hope that Egypt should be stable as it's possible because it's very important for our life. I saw yesterday a program for the Minister of the Water Sources. He talked about the threats of this. It is something very dangerous for Egyptian. Ethiopia now is constructing after 2 years, 3 years. So we will have that dam that will reduce the amount of water of Egypt. So we should have all our efforts, everything this to do this in order to stop this and to make it as with the least negative influences for Egypt. So that's very important now. We should be more closer. We should unify our efforts. This in order to defend something like that. It's very dangerous for our life. And I cannot imagine that when most of the water of Egypt does not come to Egypt, so how we can live? How we can live? How we can cultivate our lands? How we can get our water? What about the electricity of the high dam that will be reduced to its least amount? Now we suffer of the problem of electricity. What do you think when the high dam that will be less than what we have now? How it will be after that? So we should ask ourselves about these questions, because it's a kind of destiny, or question of destiny for all Egyptians now.
Yes, and definitely it's a crucial aspect. But if we're looking at the actions and the dispute today, Egypt is negotiating. You have a lot of sense when you're saying the negotiation will take forever.
Yes.
And it will end up for nothing, which has been the case because the Ethiopian file has been open for a very long time now.
Yes.
And there has been a lot of discussions with Ministry of Irrigation, even in the previous 3 or 4 ministers of irrigation. They had the same thing.
Yes.
And the same discussion. The previous minister, Mahmoud Abu Zaid,
Yes.
He was also one of the drivers who had good relations with the African and Nile basin countries, and he did a lot of efforts in that aspect. But yet, if we're looking at this whole situation that's going to be continuing, what is the firm or strict action that Egypt should be taking? Is it a military solution? Is it a diplomatic solution? what do you think is the correct path to resolve this issue?
Surely that we should use all the solutions. We should have all what we can do for this to defend our destiny. But we have a problem now. Now Sudan turned its position and to be closer to the Ethiopian. Okay, you know, also this closer to what is the instability of Sudan, and Ethiopia also has lots of factors in Ethiopia itself, can do lots of things
Yes.
in Sudan, especially with the rebels of the Sudan and Kordofan and in Darfur and even of the South Sudan. Ethiopia played a big role of that. What I wonder even about that, you know, Ethiopia now is getting or usurpating a part of Somalia, which is Ogaden. Now it's occupying a part of Somalia, which is Ogaden. Is occupied also a part of Sudan. You know, this is the same attitude like Israelis. You know, this is the same way. It is an imperial state in Africa, and this is what I insist to say every time, because what I deduced of this, that of the even the Ethiopian resources itself, this to talk about two countries, but why entity? It's one state, but divided in two countries. This is the same one they use. So we should use all the solutions for us. It's possible as for us, and even also this to threaten them with war, with whatever. But you know, Sudan now it make a problem for us, because Sudan should be on our side, but you know, with Halib and
Because the
Shalatin
treaty is also benefiting Sudan. The
yes.
original treaty
Yes.
is benefiting Sudan. So the switch of stance is definitely affecting Sudan too, and I
Yes,
wonder
but-
why they did that.
Yes, what of the catastrophes and disaster of this, if because the amount of water that will be on that dam on Ethiopia, if there is a problem in that, I will destroy it. Sudan will be covered with inundated. So you know, Sudan will be affected negatively more than what we have in Egypt if there is a problem in that. But the problem after the possession of the Muslim brothers from the throne, you know that they had close relation between the Sudanese and the Muslim brothers, and about Shalatin and Halib, and the flexibility of this point and to give them. So when the regime changed it, so we found the positions also changed between Egypt and Sudan. Now Sudan turned its position to Ethiopia, and also surely that, and I'm convinced that they have their own secret negotiations about the benefits of this at the same time that Sudan should be supporting the Ethiopian position. This is what we see. But Egypt should do everything. We should also do our pressure even for the international community. And also I heard the minister yesterday that talking about that we put this case on the international courts about this point, and to do about the rights of Egypt on the Nile, because we have lots of treaties that obligating Israel for not to do any project that will hurt or will reduce the amount of water in Egypt. We have lots of these treaties, 19.2, 19.6, 19.9. We have lots of treaties about that. But you know now, Israel with Ethiopia. So United States should be with Israel. And Europe also, even if not supporting directly, okay, it will be neutral position for not supporting or on that side. You know, it's very complicated. But anyway, Egypt, when Egypt should a strong country, and we have a strong political regime, surely that Egypt should do lots of things. But we should be more stronger inside Egypt and to be stronger from outside.
Yes,
also.
let's hope for that, because everybody is also looking for a firmer stance towards what's happening, and the worries around the dam
Yes.
is really huge for Egyptians.
Yes.
And I'd like at the end to thank you very much, Ismail Hamid, researcher in comparative religion. It has been a great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, after the break, we'll definitely have more of segments that we will be looking at. We'll having a musical segment. We'll be looking at some political stories that focused on the presidential elections and the candidates who are going to be running for the presidential candidacy. Let's have this short break and returning back for more discussions.